Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show. I am Kyle Anthony, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the prediction show for UFC on ESPN 31, José Aldo versus Rob Font. We're going to be getting into the main event, a deep dive into the main event, because it is a client play, so I'm going to be diving into all of that, as well as the prop of the card. Excited to talk about that one, and then really excited to see how that all pans out. So we're going to get into that, as well as the fade of the card, which is a fighter that you may be looking to add to all your parlays, and you may want to think about it twice there. But before we get into all that, I want to let you guys know, as I had already posted on Twitter, at Kyle Anthony UFC, I'm doing a giveaway over the next 3 UFC events, finishing off the year. I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and this first one is going to be a 2021 Chronicles Panini box. This has a lot of high-value cards in there, and I'm giving it away for free. And the way you enter is you have to follow me at Kyle Anthony UFC on Twitter. You need to like the post on Twitter, as well as retweet the post. And then under there, you're going to need to, in the comment section, let me know who's going to win the main event and what round. And if you're correct, I'm shipping you the Panini box. So that's how you get into it. We are really, besides for that, we are really just cashing. We're doing our thing here. We're really cashing here. 17 weeks. We have cashed out of the last 22. 8-1 over the last 9 plays, which is plus over 20 units. I mean, it's really been strong here. We're coming off a 5% play of the month, which was on Katlyn Vieira over Miesha Tate. We got it at minus 104, and she went out there and she got the job done. Got us to cash in. So really, really, really want to finish this year off really strong as we're just picking it up here. And then we can enjoy the holidays and kind of relax for a little bit. But before we do, let's get into this main event here. Let's talk the main event here. We got Rob Font, we got José Aldo. Right now you've got Font as the favorite. Roughly, again, these are starting to move around. A lot of money starting to come in here. You've got Rob Font at minus 165, and then you've got Aldo, who's around a plus 135. Now, like we always do, we're going to talk about each fighter, their last 3 fights, break it down, see what we see if one fighter can expose the other, and if the line makes sense to place a wager. So, let's first talk José Aldo here. Now, Aldo, 3 fights ago, fought Cheyanne. Now, this was actually a very interesting fight to go back and take a look at. And when you're looking at this fight here, I mean, Cheyanne is just the next level. I mean, he's really just showing how superior he is to the division. And this fight here in that first round, you did see, how really, Aldo was working. Aldo looked pretty good in certain spots. Was going out there. He thought that, was going to try to utilize the leg kicks. But Cheyanne goes out there and just pours it on. He looked good early, and all of a sudden, it really tide started turning to Cheyanne. Cheyanne goes out there, dominates that first round, pushes really hard, almost got a finish, landed a nice body shot, put him down. It looked like it was going to be a quick, one-sided, lopsided showing for Cheyanne in that fight. Going into that second and third round, you really saw Aldo pick it up. Aldo's boxing really took over. He started landing a lot of leg kicks. He started pushing forward, mixing it up a little bit more, and that was really where he made the adjustments. And I think that was important for someone like Aldo, who is just so experienced, who has seen it all, and he was making those adjustments in that second and that third round, which really started to get things going for him, which really started to kind of like, look, you know what? He's going to go into those championship rounds, and that's going to be where he's going to really find even more success. But the strength and just the ability behind Cheyanne, he goes out there into those the 4th and the 5th round and absolutely dominates. And it looked like that tide was turning. Now, I give a lot of credit to Cheyanne. He went out there, first round, he looked really strong. Second and third started going against him, but he dug deep. He goes out there. He gets the finish in that 5th round. I mean, the 5th round was just an absolute annihilation of Aldo, where he had him on the ground. Blood was basically everywhere. I'm not really sure why they didn't stop it earlier, but he goes out there, and Aldo does lose against Cheyanne. 2 fights ago, he fought Marlon Vera, and this was one here again. Just that early part where Aldo is in the fight, just very focused, laser focused, and that is something that I know that he's going to take into this fight. The way that he is, his distance management, the way that he boxes, and against Vera, I thought he pretty much did. He dominated from the beginning there, showed great boxing, going out there, mixing it up, and again, the one thing that the issue was that I had where I was really looking at Aldo prior to in other fights was he wasn't utilizing those leg kicks. He wasn't out there. He wasn't throwing the leg kicks. He was just kind of basically, boxing more and not utilizing those leg kicks. Here he's really implemented it. He's really put it back into his game. And he goes out there against Vera, mixes it up. Vera looked lost in a lot of those exchanges. Utilized a takedown, got top control, which sealed the win up in that third round. But overall, I thought he looked great. I really, for a guy who's been around, I feel like he's really starting to actually look better. There was a point where he had some losses against obviously very high caliber guys, but he didn't look that good. There were certain spots where he kind of looked flat, even against I think it was Volkanovski, that the fight that he wasn't throwing a lot. He kind of was allowing the opponent to dictate the pace of the fight. So in here, he goes out there, he gets the victory, sweeping decision victory for him. He goes out there and beats Marlon Vera. And then most recently, he fought Pedro Munoz. And this was another fight here where he looked locked in. Aldo looked so locked in the way that he was, the distance management again, the boxing, mixing it up. He didn't utilize as many leg kicks, I think, just because Pedro has that ability. He's very aware. He throws a lot of leg kicks himself. He checks them pretty well as well. So I think that kind of gave a little bit more space between, Aldo and Pedro when it comes to the leg kicks. But besides for that, I mean, Aldo looked great. Pedro, was trying to get in there and utilize some of his striking, but I really liked the way that he kept the space, and it was just not enough, really, from Pedro, where it was all Aldo going through in that fight. He goes out there, he gets the victory over Pedro Munoz. And then on the other side, you've got Rob Font. 3 fights ago, he fought Ricky Simone. And this was here, it's basically grappler versus striker in this spot here. And the big thing here was, Font was just able to move forward. Font was able to utilize that jab, keep it going, and that's a big thing where Font is going to absolutely have to do on Saturday night is keep the distance. Keep the distance, work from range, keep Aldo in space. Aldo's going to look to push forward. He's going to have to be able to kind of utilize that jab, keep the space, and that's exactly what he did against Simone. Simone's looking for those takedowns. He was very aware of it. Font kept the distance, and then anytime there was a takedown, he was able to kind of get out of it, and Simone not able to really, secure those takedowns and keep them there. I thought that was really, really good showing for Font. He goes out there, he gets decision victory. He looked fantastic. I thought he looked great in that spot against a grappler who was just looking for those takedowns. He was able to kind of stay on his feet for the most part. He gets decision victory. 2 fights ago, he fought Marlon Moraes. This was one here where it was kind of interesting because, Marlon Moraes, you got 2 guys who are predominantly strikers. You've got the kickboxer Moraes, and Moraes goes for a takedown right away. And I'm not really sure what stupid coach told him that he should go for takedowns with a guy who has no gas tank. Marlon is just known for just 0 gas tank, has explosive kicks, and pretty much his wheelhouse is going out there and trying to get that victory early, get that knockout, utilize those kicks and the power that he has. And he just didn't do that in that fight at all. He goes out there, he goes get the takedown. I think it threw Font off. He was in some bad situations, but Font, again, was able to scramble back to his feet, and by the time they got back to the feet, it looked like Marlon had been in a 5-round fight. He was exhausted, he was tired, and then Font just started picking him apart. It almost looked like Moraes fell down from exhaustion, and then it was Font who kind of finished that up and got the victory there with the ground and pound. He gets the TKO victory in the first round. And then most recently, he fought Cody Garbrandt. And now this was one here where I did pick Font as a client play, but this was a situation here where, I'm just not that big on Cody. I was on that train early, and I am really off that train at this point here. And even with his big knockout win, you just didn't really see that much ability where Cody's trying to stay at distance. Cody does not want a slugfest anymore. And this was a spot here where he was trying to mix it up. He got the takedown early on Font. He was trying to grapple a little bit more. And Font was able to just keep the distance. He had a 6-inch reach advantage, peppering him from the outside. Cody just did not have answers, looked uncomfortable. And it was going to be boxer versus boxer. He tried to surprise him with the grappling, but Font was able to pick him apart, utilize that range, keep using that jab. That got him the victory. He goes out there and gets the decision victory over Cody Garbrandt. Now, with that being said, we take a look at it here. You've got José Aldo, who is, just well-rounded. I mean, we don't got to dive into all of his credentials here. High-level striker, big with the leg kicks. That's going to be his thing where he mixes it in there. And, again, his competition level has just been, world-class fighters after world-class fighters. And then you've got, on the other side, you've got Rob Font. Rob Font, really strong boxing foundation, really good movement, he utilizes that. But I think the big thing here, really when I was looking at tape, is the style at which these two guys fight. Now, yes, they're predominantly both, strikers for the most part there. But the way that Font fights, now Font is really heavy on the boxing. He's got that ability. He's able to utilize that. And the big issue with that is that he's heavy on his feet. He's very heavy on that front feet. He's looking to slip the jab, to utilize his range. He's not going to have as big of a reach advantage in this fight, which is definitely going to be something that's plus for Aldo. But the fact that he's not, and he's shown also that he's been leg kicked and not looking like he's even paying attention to check those, and that is going to be massive for Aldo in this fight, where you're going to have a boxing heavy type of fighter who doesn't really check leg kicks, and you've got somebody like Aldo who has really incorporated a lot of that. He's just really incorporated that back into his game. We weren't seeing it like I was talking about earlier. He is now all over that now. I think that is massive. I think that's going to land a lot of damage. It's going to be a target for him. That front leg is going to be a big target for him, and the little legs of Font, I think, are gonna be in big time damage early in this fight. I think he's gonna be, that's gonna be going to the bank early, laying those big leg kicks, and then starting to slow even the movement down of Font and start picking him apart later. I think that's gonna be a big part for him. The other part is the pressure. Now, Font likes to have that. Utilize the boxing, stay at range, utilize the boxing. His jab is fantastic. I mean, there is no doubt Font has a fantastic jab. Excuse me. Font has a fantastic jab. It sets up his combination. It sets up his offense. And when you've got somebody like Aldo in the smaller cage, he's going to be able to really cut that distance, put the pressure on him, walk him down. And Font, off of his back foot, being walked down, is not going to be, as dangerous as he normally is, where you've got someone in your face like that. And he's not going to be worried about takedowns. He's not going to, Aldo's not worried about takedowns, not worried about leg kicks. He's going to be the one that's going to be the more versatile striker as well. So that's going to add to it also. And also the fact that we've seen Font taken down. He showed pretty good takedown defense, although he got up against Simone. But, Moraes took him down. Maybe that was a little bit of a surprise, but Moraes took him down. Even a Cody Garbrandt took him down. So I think that's even a path also where if he needs it, Aldo can get the level change, start working him, work top control, either, look to try to win the round or pile up some of the damage and really get Font guessing, thinking, what's he going to do here? And when you're taking a look at this price here, I think this is actually flipped. I would absolutely put Aldo as the favorite in this spot. And a lot of people are talking about, is Aldo getting older? These guys are the same age. These guys are the same age. So it's not like you've got a guy that Aldo has got, he's looked bad and he's, at the end of his career. He's, they're the same age, and Aldo has looked, I think, the best that he's looked. I think it was the Marine Corps boxing or something to that effect where he's changed camps. Just prior to the Yan fight, I think he changed boxing and kind of incorporated different kind of looks, and I think that's going to help him also. So for me here at plus 135, it's a client play. I do like Aldo here to go out there, get this victory. Plus 135 to me is a nice number. It was actually a little bit higher, and it's kind of come down, and I don't know, again, depending where you're shopping it, but roughly it's about 135, and I like that price there. So as a free play and as a client play for this weekend, José Aldo will be my play. Now we're going to talk, let's talk the prop of the card. Let's talk the prop of the card here. So the prop of the card here we're going to talk is in the fight between Jimmy Crute and Jamahal Hill. Now I've got a soft spot for Jamahal Hill here because Jamahal Hill was my first ever on Wager Talk, first ever 5% release, and it was a winner against Gruetzemacher, and it was an easy first round knockout. Jamahal Hill was a minus, I think 110 or somewhere to that effect. It was a pick 'em, so I've always got a soft spot for him there. But with that being said here, you got to look at data. You got to look at capping. We're not playing favoritisms here, but when you're looking at this fight here, you've got some. This is again a grappler versus striker kind of situation here, where you've got Crute, who has shown some power. But the one thing I think that you can get with Crute is that he has improved some of his striking. He has looked, in certain spots a little bit smoother. But again, it's, there are spots where he's got holes in his game. He's very aggressive. He wants to come forward, look for the level change, or he's looking for the big overhand shot. He throws a lot with power. He's got strength. There's a lot of those things there that show a lot of great things for him. And the other side, you've got Jamahal Hill. And again, if I didn't give you the odds yet, Crute is -184 and Hill is plus 148. So you've got that price there. But on the other side, you've got Hill, who, great kickboxing, fantastic kickboxing. That was one thing that started to really pull me over to him when I was first capping him, first kind of, realizing this, this young guy kind of coming up. Is that, in his rangy combinations, he has a nice reach advantage over most guys. And in this spot here, he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage over Crute, so that's going to be important as well. But the thing that I like about Hill the most is he is active. He has got good volume. He pushes out a good pace. He's got good speed off of his striking. And I think that's a big part where you've got the little bit of the lackluster defense where it comes from Crute, where he's, willing to kind of take a shot and get into the firefight. And someone like Hill is just a sniper. I mean, he's got great shots. He does, he's not this big, scary looking guy, but boy, he is lanky. He's got the power. You saw what he did against OSP. So a lot of that stuff, I think, really starts to go the other way, adding in his good movement, his good footwork there. But you've got the part here where the Crute, he's, gonna have the good top control. He's good, that's his thing. He's gonna look for the takedowns. He wants to get that. He wants to get it sloppy, get in there, dirty boxing, that kind of stuff. And if you can get Hill up against the fence, I think there's opportunity for him to have the victory. I mean, I think that's gonna be his path, is kind of make it dirty, get in his face. But I think the big part here, when we're looking at it, is the takedowns here. Now, you've got the big part with Crute is, can Crute take him down? Can Crute, is Crute going to get the takedowns? That's going to be critical. We just saw, and I think that kind of skewed this price a little bit, was where you've got Hill, who just came off a loss, a grappling loss, and got his arm basically ripped off. And a lot of people are kind of looking at that as, hey, look, this is what Crute can do. Crute is a completely different fighter. He's not this kind of guy who's going to be relentless with the takedowns. Find this, this smooth, submission moves, and he's very well aware and he's very comfortable on the ground. But if it's on the feet, and I think that Hill is going to be able to kind of utilize his jab, keep distance, that to me is a spot where I think he can find success. I think the stock is very, very low on Hill. Very low on Hill. And again, off of his last loss, I think it was just an ugly loss, and it's providing great value here. And also, I think in keeping the distance, the jab, but I think that Crute is very tough. So I think if this fight, this fight's going to be going on, I don't think there's going to be a finish here. I think that this is a spot where Hill is going to have success at a distance. I think he's going to utilize, his range, his reach, keep Crute on the outside. Crute is very, there's spot he's very sloppy. When he's striking, he's sloppy. He throws a lot of the same combinations. He's looking for the big shot. Unless he changes changes different strategy going into this fight, he does a lot of the same stuff. So I think somebody like Hill, who is just, I think, miles apart from Crute, I think he's just way above Crute when it comes to the stand-up. I think that's going to be where he's going to find success. I don't, Crute is not this guy who's just really, got this takedown ability. He just takes everybody down. He really doesn't. So I think in this spot here, I do like Hill. I think a sprinkle on Hill straight is absolutely worth it. And a sprinkle on Jamahal Hill straight, but also Hill by decision is plus 700. I think that Crute is going to be tough in there. I think he's going to be able to last. I think there could be a round that's close, but I think as we start to move later into that fight, Hill's going to have success. Crute's not going to be able to get the takedowns, and you're going to have the good volume, the output, and outland Crute over 3 rounds. So I do like, as my prop of the card, I do like Jamahal Hill going out there and winning via decision plus 700. So we're going to be talking, the last thing is quickly the fate of the card. And it's going to be between Brandon Allen and Chris Curtis. Now you got Allen, who is a minus 355, and you've got Curtis, who's plus 270 here. So now, when we talk about fate of the card, the big situation here is, it's just, again, a lot of people like to, do these big parlays, and we all do them. But there's some of these that are parlay busters, and I feel like Brandon Allen is a possible parlay buster, not worth this price to even add to a parlay at minus 355, in my opinion. And this is why. So basically here, you've got the line is way too wide to begin with. I think it's just absolutely way too wide here. And the big part here, is really the takedowns. This is a spot here where Brandon Allen is, can he get the takedowns? Can he push forward? Can he get those takedowns? And you've got somebody like, Chris Curtis, who, he's the kind of guy where he does put out a pretty good volume. He does, he's going to be able to test Brandon Allen on the feet. I think there's, that's going to be close. But Brandon Allen is not this guy that's just, again, another guy who's relentless with the takedowns, who does great. Once he gets the fight to the ground, he is really strong there. He can maneuver. He looks really good. He's able to kind of move around. But he's 45% success rate on takedowns, while you got Chris Curtis, who is 100% takedown defense, roughly, at least that's what it says there. But again, he has been showing that he's not easy to take down. So if and Brandon Allen, again, he has been sloppy. He doesn't have that strength to just rip guys to the ground or blast a double leg and get him to the ground. Again, when he's down there, he is very creative. He's got maneuvers. He's able to kind of reverse certain positioning, submission hunting also. But here in this spot here, I think that he can keep the fight standing. I think Chris Curtis can keep the fight standing. And on the feet, I think he's going to push out a good volume. I think that's going to be the situation here where I think it's going to be way closer than this line indicates here. I don't think that we're approaching 4-1 favorite on Brandon Allen here. I just don't see it. I think this is a complete stay away from me. I mean, it could be a dog or pass if you're looking to kind of sprinkle something on Chris Curtis here. But to me, I am staying away from this fight. I don't think it's worth it. I think Brandon Allen, again, I'm not that high on Brandon Allen, but I know he's got strong talent. He's a great grappler. I just think in this spot here, minus 355 is way high for me. I think that he goes out there, Chris Curtis defends those takedowns, stays on the feet, makes the fight very close, and I think that this fight will be much closer than this line indicates. So the fade of the card is Brandon Allen. So those are my 3 plays for UFC on ESPN 31. If you want to take a look at my Wager Talk plays for clients, link down in the description. And again, if you want to get into the giveaway, take a look on my Twitter. We'll get into it over there, and let's see if we can keep this going. Let's go 18 and 22, 18 profitable nights out of 23 it would be. So this is Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show, and I'll see you next time.